choosing the right books for your child at different ages, nurturing skills and a love for reading together. Welcome, dear parents, to our Parenting Knowledge Sharing series. Today, we're going to talk about a very important companion on your child's journey of growing up, books. How can we choose the most suitable books for each stage of childhood? Books that not only nurture intellect and soul but also plant the seeds of a lifelong love for reading from the very earliest years? This is a question many parents often wonder about. In today's conversation, we will explore different types of books tailored to each stage of your child's development, from the very first books for newborns to colorful picture books for toddlers, captivating chapter books for elementary schoolers, and deeper, more meaningful works for middle and high school students. We'll also look at how reading skills develop over time and share a few simple tips to help your child find joy in every page. Hopefully, these insights will help you feel more confident as you accompany your child into the magical world of books. Little angels and their first books. Let's begin with our youngest readers, infants from birth to 1 year old. Many parents may think that babies are too young to understand books. But in fact, this is a golden stage for children to start getting familiar with them. So what qualities should books for these tiny angels have? For newborns, vision is still developing. Babies see best at a distance of about 20 to 30 centimeters, just the right range when parents hold them close and read together. That's why small-sized books that are easy for parents to hold and turn pages while cuddling the baby are ideal. At this stage, books with simple designs, large clear images, bright colors, or high contrast, like black and white illustrations, are very engaging and help babies focus. Each page should feature just one or two main objects with plenty of white space and minimal or no text. What's most important is that the illustrations clearly depict visual narratives, as studies show that visual reading is a vital foundation for later word-based reading. Babies need to develop this skill from the start. The book's material is also crucial. Choose sturdy board books, small enough for little hands, with rounded corners to ensure safety. Babies love to explore with their mouths, so books should be durable enough to withstand chewing, grabbing, or even tossing. Soft cloth or waterproof plastic books are also great options, allowing babies to enjoy books even during bath time. Infants are drawn to interactive experiences, so books with sensory elements, like textures to touch or flap books with hidden surprises, can make reading time much more fun. However, be cautious not to overstimulate. Books with excessive bells or electronic sounds can tire babies quickly and reduce their interest. A parent's warm, expressive voice and loving gestures during reading are far more valuable than any special effects. During this stage, babies begin to understand that gestures and sounds carry meaning. They'll start focusing on people or objects, responding to conversation, and may comprehend up to 50 words. They might grab books, turn pages with help, or react to stories by making sounds or patting the pictures. These are the first building blocks of your child's lifelong love of reading. Exploring the world step by step with books. As children grow into the age range of 1 to 3, their world expands dramatically. This is the stage when they begin to toddle around and their curiosity and desire to explore everything around them truly awaken. Books continue to be an essential companion during this time. So, how should we choose books for these little explorers? At this age, children are still drawn to board books with large, clear images, vibrant colors, and simple content. Books with a single word paired with a corresponding picture help them understand that each image represents a specific meaning. Parents can choose books with simple stories or short nursery rhymes with rhythmic and repetitive patterns, which children often enjoy listening to and remembering. It's important that books at this stage allow for easy interaction. Books with thick pages and rounded corners make it easier for little hands to turn the pages. Children are especially fascinated by images of other babies, family members, and familiar animals or household objects. Books that reflect daily experiences, like mealtime, playtime, saying hello or goodbye, help children connect with and better understand the world around them. Don't hesitate to choose books that stimulate multiple senses. Toddlers particularly love books with surprise elements, such as lift the flap books, pop-ups, touch and feel textures, scented pages, or even mirrors. These sensory-rich books are not only fun but also support the development of the senses. At this stage, children begin to respond to simple questions about a book's content, such as, "Where is the cow?" or "What sound does the cat make?" They can name familiar images, point to named objects, pretend to read, finish sentences from familiar books, or scribble on paper. They may even recognize and name favorite books by their cover. Often, they will have a beloved book they want to hear over and over again. These are wonderful signs that a love for books is beginning to grow. Nurturing the imagination. As children move on from toddlerhood and enter preschool, ages 3 to 5, their imagination begins to soar. They not only continue exploring the world around them, but they also begin asking endless, why questions. At this stage, books serve as magical keys that open new doors for development. So, how should we choose the right book companions for this delightful age group? Preschoolers enjoy simple stories with clear plots, engaging illustrations, and fun, rhythmic language that is easy to read aloud. The plot should move at a quick pace to keep their attention and be short enough to finish in one sitting. Compared to earlier stages, story structures can become slightly more complex and include repeated phrases and sounds that children can easily remember and echo. Picture books that skillfully combine illustrations and text are an excellent choice. They are not only fun but also a form of art. The images and text together tell a complete story. Sometimes, you may come across a beautifully illustrated book whose content doesn't fully align with your family's values. Don't hesitate to adapt the wording when reading aloud. Classic picture books that you loved as a child can also be shared. Continuing a family tradition. Wordless picture books, in particular, offer wonderful opportunities to help children develop visual literacy skills. Invite your child to describe what's happening on each page and ask questions like, "What makes you think that?" This not only encourages critical thinking but also helps develop expressive language skills. At this age, children also love books featuring animal characters, like Little Bear, Frog and Toad, or Pete the Cat. These characters provide a safe emotional distance for children to process and resolve issues. Animal characters are often gender-neutral, making them relatable for both boys and girls. In addition to stories, preschoolers are often fascinated by nonfiction books that present information in a fun way. These might cover topics such as animals, colors, shapes, numbers, letters, dinosaurs, trucks, insects, geography, or construction. Many children are especially drawn to books organized like mini encyclopedias or catalogs. Even more than stories, at this stage, children start to explore books on their own. Listen to longer stories, retell familiar tales, sing the alphabet song with prompts, recognize the first letter of their name, and distinguish between writing and drawing. They might pretend to read aloud. Around ages 4 to 5, they begin recognizing signs and labels, identifying rhyming words, naming more letters, writing their own names, and understanding that printed words are read from left to right and top to bottom. These are crucial milestones in early reading. Always remember, reading should be a joy, not a pressure-filled lesson. Explore books slowly and patiently with your child, choosing stories that are cheerful, humorous, and adventurous to spark curiosity and delight. Discovering the world through chapter books. As children enter elementary school, typically from ages 6 to 10. A broader world opens before them. They begin mastering reading and writing and start developing an understanding of society and the world around them. Simple books may no longer be captivating enough. This is the perfect time to introduce them to chapter books, longer, deeper stories that stretch across multiple chapters. Once children can read beginner books fluently, they're ready for chapter books. Reading through an entire book with multiple chapters gives them a sense of maturity and accomplishment. These books often come in series, and children are usually eager to follow their favorite characters from one book to the next. Through chapter books, children meet characters who may become significant companions, sometimes even influencing their thoughts and perspectives as they grow. They follow longer and more complex storylines, delve into magical, mysterious fantasy worlds with unique rules, and explore stories that help them understand and navigate personal changes in the world around them. Although the content becomes more complex, visual appeal remains important, especially for those new to chapter books. If your child shows reluctance or struggles with reading longer books, try choosing chapter books with illustrations in each chapter or ones that blend text and comics. These, graphic novels, or hybrid books may seem too easy to some adults, but they play a valuable role in building reading stamina and enjoyment. When selecting series for your child, you might encounter collections that span dozens, or even hundreds, of volumes. This can feel overwhelming to parents. But if your child truly loves the series, let them enjoy it. The joy of reading matters most. You can borrow from the library, trade with friends, or buy used books, as children often only read each volume once. Besides famous series, don't hesitate to introduce lesser-known books. Many of these are high-quality literature with beautiful artwork and engaging language. Some series must be read in order, but many can be enjoyed starting from any volume. In terms of reading skills, children at this age start to read familiar stories on their own. Decode unfamiliar words, use context and illustrations to infer meaning, and pay attention to punctuation and capitalization. They also begin to self-correct when reading aloud. In writing, they can arrange details in logical order with a beginning, middle, and end. By second or third grade, many children can read independently for longer periods, read with expression, understand paragraph structure, and use punctuation correctly in writing. Shaping identity through books. As children enter middle school, around ages 11 to 15, they experience significant physical and emotional changes. They are no longer elementary kids, but preteens entering puberty, with its mix of wonder, curiosity, and challenges. At this stage, books become not only a source of entertainment but also teachers and guides helping them discover themselves and the wider world. Books for middle school readers are often considered some of the best in children's literature. They tend to focus on memorable childhood years just before the full force of adolescence hits. These books may avoid explicit violence or sexuality but often explore themes of friendship, conflict, early romantic feelings, and rich inner emotional life. One of the biggest questions kids ask at this age is, where do I fit in this world? As a result, great books for this stage often include light philosophical themes and introduce concepts like justice, fairness, freedom, and empathy. Books about history, geography, and global cultures broaden their understanding of real-world issues such as gender stereotypes, racism, war, and mental health. Whatever personal challenge a child is facing, bullying, a broken friendship, anxiety, moving homes, illness, or grief, there is likely a book that can offer empathy, comfort, and insight. In the best novels for this age group, the protagonists are typically children or teens. These characters tackle problems on their own, embark on adventures without heavy adult involvement, and take center stage in their own stories. That's why orphans are common in classic children's literature, and even in modern stories. Parents may be absent in some way, pushing young characters to grow and take risks. That said, adults still matter. A good middle-grade novel often includes at least one admirable adult character, sometimes more. This is the age when children begin to realize that adults are imperfect and make mistakes. But they still need positive role models who can offer support and guidance. Just like younger readers enjoy spending time with beloved characters in chapter books, middle schoolers often get attached to series. These books tend to lean more heavily toward fantasy and adventure than realism. Each book deepens the reader's understanding of the rules, history, and structure of its imaginary world. Fantasy is hugely popular because it creates unique, immersive worlds with their own systems, providing just enough distance from reality to allow readers to reflect on the rules of their own lives. In terms of skills, readers at this stage, grades 4 to 8, roughly ages 9 to 13, can read independently for extended periods. Read aloud with intonation and expression. Use context and illustrations to figure out new words. Grasp paragraph structure, and apply these elements to their writing. They can spell more accurately. Take short notes. Understand humor in text, and begin incorporating new vocabulary and imagery into their writing and conversations. When choosing books for children at this age, sometimes the recommended age range is not clearly indicated on the cover. Parents should take a closer look, perhaps skim through the book or refer to reviews, to ensure the content is suitable for their child. If your child brings home a book that you feel is not appropriate, stay calm, express your concerns clearly, and have an open conversation about the content. This can also be a valuable opportunity to teach your child about self-censorship and how to choose information responsibly. Spreading wings into life through books. Finally, we arrive at the teenage years, a stage where young people are preparing the essential tools to step into adult life. Books for teens, commonly referred to as YA, young adult, literature, are written specifically for readers around the age of 14 or 15 and up. These books are incredibly diverse, ranging from deeply moving and poetic literary works to popular, entertaining stories. What YA books have in common is their focus on themes close to the hearts of adolescents. These may include family conflicts, friendship troubles, first crushes and romantic relationships, the journey of self-discovery and self-assertion, or major life choices. Today, genres like mystery, fantasy, and dystopian fiction are also widely loved among young readers. Books for teens often feature an authentic, relatable tone that touches deep emotions, allowing readers to see reflections of themselves within the pages. Through stories and characters, young people can better understand themselves, their relationships, and draw meaningful life lessons. At this age, children are usually capable of selecting books on their own. Parents can offer initial guidance, suggesting genres or authors, but should then allow their teens the freedom to explore and choose what speaks to them. However, this doesn't mean parents should completely step back. Having open conversations about what your child is reading, sharing your thoughts, and listening to theirs is still essential. Sometimes, books may touch on complex or sensitive topics. Your gentle companionship and thoughtful guidance will help your teen process the information in a healthy way and develop a well-grounded perspective. Certain genres can be especially valuable for teenagers. For example, books with philosophical depth that raise big questions about life, justice, freedom, and compassion can spark critical thinking and help shape a personal value system. Books that tackle social issues, such as history, geography, culture, gender stereotypes, racism, war, mental health, or LGBTQ+ topics, can expand your child's worldview and increase their appreciation for life's diversity. Fantasy novels continue to be incredibly popular. as they allow teens to escape reality, explore imaginative worlds, and reflect on the rules of their own world from a safe distance. Additionally, self-help books can offer comfort, empathy, and practical advice to help young people cope with personal challenges and foster their own growth. No matter what your teen chooses to read, the most important thing is that they find joy and meaning in each page. The reading journey is not only about acquiring knowledge, it's also about nurturing the soul, developing character, and discovering oneself. Final thoughts. Dear parents, the journey of exploring the world of books with your child is truly magical and full of wonder. Isn't it? From the first board books your child ever held to the thick novels they now eagerly devour. Each stage marks an important milestone in their growth. Choosing the right book at the right time not only supports language and cognitive development, but also nurtures love, empathy, and the ability to see the world from different perspectives. More importantly, the moments when you read together, talk about stories and characters, will become warm memories that strengthen family bonds and plant seeds of goodness in your child's heart. Remember, every child is a unique individual with their own preferences and pace of development. Don't worry if your child doesn't read as quickly as others or isn't drawn to the books you had hoped. What truly matters is creating a joyful and voluntary reading environment, where your child feels free to explore and find stories that truly resonate with their soul. We hope that today's sharing has provided you with helpful insights and greater confidence to accompany your child on the path to becoming a lifelong reader. We wish you and your children many joyful and meaningful reading moments ahead.